want to make sure that they get this. Okay, and let me. All right. So geometric grid-based design. Are you guys all seeing my screen of just the single slide geometric grid-based design?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what is this? So we're going to be, oh, hold on. We're going to get this. Hold on, there we go. Okay. Bauhaus. The Bauhaus style is geometry and grids. The Bauhaus style of art started in 1919 at a German art school. It used simple geometric shapes that we all learned back in kindergarten: circles, squares, triangles, without any embellishment, just the basic shapes that we all learned when we were learning about the world, right? Back in kindergarten. And Bauhaus theorists saw simple geometric forms as the essence of natural and organic shapes. The movement influenced art, design, architecture, and a wide range of other disciplines. The Bauhaus existed for only 14 years, 1919 to 1933. However, the school's influence on architecture and design over the last century is huge and lasting. Much of the influence attributed to the Bauhaus has to do with the personalities that started it, ran it, and taught at the school. Like Walter Gropius, Mies van der Rohe, Johann Itten, Paul Klee, Laszlo Moholy-Nagy, and Wesley Kandinsky. Let's look at a few of their works. Distilling the complexities of the world to their intrinsic properties became a central tenet of the Bauhaus. For Kandinsky, this is his example of his work. These often resulted in complex representations comprised of basic shapes and lines. Itten's development of the preliminary class of the Bauhaus School revolutionized art education. Instead of having students copy works of the old masters, he encouraged them to explore their own feelings and to experiment with colors, materials, and form. Here's some examples of his work. And he's done extensive work in color theory.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of our recordings on YouTube.
I'll show you where they are after we're done.
Okay.
Not a problem. During his Bauhaus years, Moholy-Nagy developed the theories of art education for which he's known. He created a widely accepted curriculum that focused on developing students' natural visual gifts instead of teaching them specialized skills. He was highly influenced by the constructivism and a strong advocate of the integration of technology and industry into the arts. So that moves us into grids. A grid organizes space according to an X and Y axis. The grid is a structural form pervading Bauhaus art and design. This articulates space according to a pattern of oppositions, vertical and horizontal, top and bottom, orthogonal and diagonal, and left to right. Another opposition engaged by the grid is the opposition of continuity and discontinuity. On the one hand, the axis of the grid suggests the infinite, continuous extension of a plane in 4 directions at the same time. The grid marks off that plane into distinct sections. The grid is an underlying structure of the chart or graph which organizes data according to an X and Y axis. The data in a chart can be plotted as a continuous line or it can be dispersed. So in addition to the Bauhaus, which is really kind of the foundation of geometric design, geometric and grid-based design are also featured in many other movements. For example, the avant-garde, Art Deco, optical art, abstract art, Islamic decoration, the Swiss style. Let's go through a few of these and see some examples of what I mean. Start with avant-garde. Here's a couple examples of avant-garde. See the grid, you can see the shape-based, you can see repetition and patterning. Here's some examples of Art Deco. Look at the shapes that are forming, the reflection of things that we would see in a lot of architectural elements. Op art, you know, that illusion art, the things that make us feel like we're being hypnotized, right? Abstract art. Islamic decoration. Just gorgeous, detailed, highly complicated designs. And the Swiss style. So grids are something that's going to be the basis of this next design project we're going to be doing. They help us to reduce the fear of a blank canvas and make it easier to start creating an experiment. The grid is something that you can really build upon and helps you make decisions in your designs. Let's look at a few projects in the real world that are using grids as part of their design strategy. Here's two examples of branding programs. One on the left here is from Zurich 2012. It's a identity system that is using patterning a lot within it. And as well as I paired it with this other one from Stylecraft, which is another identity system that is using basically shape-based designs and using them in a pattern formation. Here's an interesting project I found, the city of Melbourne. Here you can see that they're using a shape that becomes the letter M, but they're filling that shape with many different types of grids and graphic geometric designs. Here's an isometric design that's being used for a brand of a library. And I think this is really interesting. You can see some of the advertising up on the wall, and then the mark by itself as a signage on the glass that would take you into the library. So we're seeing geometric grid-based design in many different ways. I'm going to pause here. We're going to come back to part 2 at a later time. Where's my, oops. Okay, why can't I see my, there we go. Stop.